Good afternoon. Welcome to Fort Walton Beach. What we're doing, your daily dose of local news, community engagement, in-studio interviews with local movers and shakers, and sports and local history whenever we can squeeze it in. We have a very special guest today. Our Miracle Strip Body Shop guest of the afternoon is Mr. Ted Arcidi. He is a former world record holder of the bench press. He is a former WWE WWF superstar. He wrestled with Fritz von Erich's World Class Wrestling Association. He also wrestled for Stu Hart's Stampede Wrestling. And now he makes his living as an actor. He's been doing that for about 30 years. Mr. Ted Arcidi, welcome to the show.
Good to be here. Nice intro. And may I say to all these listeners, your fella, your master here, he's got a great set of pipes.
Thank you, sir. That's high praise coming from you. You entered wrestling during a very colorful time where people had colorful names and monikers.
Biggest time ever.
But you were just straight up Ted Arcidi, your name. Was it because you were the world record holder, Ted Arcidi, and he wanted to capitalize on that? Or was there ever any conversation about giving you a gimmick that was more colorful?
Good question. Good question. Well, they knew it was all over the world. And in every gym that I was the first man at bench 7. And they had the footage from NBC or ESPN. And that's the methodology of Vince McMahon. You got to remember, Ken Patera was in jail at the time. He was their strongman. So that he needed that void filled. So there's that thing again, that adage about timing's everything, you know? So he ran with that. I'm glad he did. And I was the world's strongest man. I mean, Patera didn't even have that. He was Olympic champion and everything, but they called me world's strongest man. I said, go for it, baby. And that was great. I mean, you just can't beat the exposure McMahon gave me. Right? And I don't think wrestling will ever get that global exposure like it did in 85, 86, and 87. I mean, you tell me.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Ted.
We were like larger than life, and we're proud of it.
So who was it? Tony Altamore, was he the first person who, quote unquote, smartened you up to the business? Or how wise were you to the wrestling industry before you met Tony?
I was a neophyte. I didn't know anything about selling. I didn't know anything about works and marks like you guys. I didn't know anything. I was a mark, I guess. But I knew I could do well. Because I'm thinking, okay, these guys, yeah, they put their time in and stuff like that. I know if I pursue this thing, I'm going to work 10 times harder than them in this 6-month camp than they ever did. And I think I'm going to make it. So, I guess I had to have confidence in myself. And it worked out great.
It did, because immediately you were thrust into the spotlight. You were put into the card for WrestleMania 2. You competed in a really popular...
I mean, who can ask for better, you know?
I think that's what's very impressive is, from what I'm gathering, you had no affiliation with WWF at WrestleMania 1, and then just 1 year later, you're already in an upper-tier match at WrestleMania 2.
You know something? I told these other guys, I said, hey, man, if you're bitching about me coming in like this, too bad. You go ahead and bench 700 and see what happens, all right? Not shut them up. But they were still good guys, but they had a right to bitch. Because, like I said, they were toiling away in these territories. And they finally get the call to New York. But they gave me the doll.
That's right. You were an LJN
how cool is
doll.
that, to have a wrestling doll 8 months in the business? That's insane.
Wow.
Yeah, I was going to say action figure, but you chose the word doll. Yeah, we used to collect those LJN figures. Kevin and I used
They're worth a lot of money now.
They sure are.
He gave each wrestler like a dozen when they came off the press, you know, when they came off the assembly line. I still got them all packaged and everything. And I looked online on eBay. If I sign one of those and someone puts it out on eBay, guess how much they're going for? $3,000.
Wow.
Because it's the original golden generation of wrestling, unpackaged. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's fantastic. You've got your own action figure, and you were able to do
My
so.
parents couldn't even contemplate that. Again, at the time, I wasn't talking to my dad. And then eventually he started talking to me because I was like, how do you say it? Like annexed from the family. I felt like Napoleon after Waterloo. I was annexed to like an island, Alba, my own Alba. So, uh, but once he saw me on TV and I was making money, and he knew I was taking advantage of the timing and the situation and the media of this WWE. He came around and he became my biggest fan. Yeah, I was an anomaly.
Hey Ted, I want to jump back to WrestleMania 2 real fast. Of course,
Sure.
it was very adventurous and cutting edge and very risky with the three venue
Right.
the three venue setup. I was just always been curious, what was the attitude backstage with the talent about that structure of for the event?
We knew Vince had the golden touch. And you're right, you got the New York venue, you get the Chicago venue, then the LA, and he was doing something that just wasn't ventured at all. He's almost like a Ted Turner because he's innovating all the time. Probably the greatest promoter ever. I mean, even bigger than P.T. Barnum, because this guy went global on TV when he started nabbing all the cable stations and stuff. But the talk back then was, man, let Vince go with this. Who are we to say it's going to suck? If it wasn't for Vince, we'd be a bunch of gym rats, So go with it, And I always thought it was amazing when, okay, this is WrestleMania 2. I'm in the greatest battle royal, the biggest assembly of strong men, big men, toughest men. And you got to remember, this is with the NFL. And we were just exceeding the NFL as far as exposure than what the NFL had all the time. And to be honest with you, a lot of these guys were just happy to be with us. These NFL players, Refrigerator, Steve Colburn, Russ Francis, Too Tall Jones, all these other players, all these great players, all Hall of Famers. I mean, they still must have reinforced that ring because there was a lot of muscle on that fucking card, man.
And not to mention a big names, Andre the Giant.
And Andre.
Bret Hart, Andre the Giant, two of the biggest names in the history of the business you shared the ring with on the biggest stage in your profession, and just within 1 year of getting into the business? That's very impressive.
Not even 5 months.
Unreal. I mean, like you said, these guys spend 4, 5,
no one's
6
ever
years
done
in the indies. Sometimes people spend a decade in the indies and never get that call up. And here you are in WrestleMania.
You got it right. The indies, these other smaller territories and stuff, which are good to learn and stuff. But sometimes they're just not big enough, or they don't have the persona or the mic skills or the athleticism to get in the big show. Everybody wants to get to New York. The big shows, WWE and Texas.
Let's talk about Fritz Von Erich and your Texas experience, because that's where you went. Well, I think you stopped at Stampede next and then went to Texas.
I was in Stampede learning how to be a heel, and I'm glad I was there for about a year before I went down to Texas. Because I wanted to be a heel. I always wanted to be a heel with Vince, but Vince was right, though. He says, you don't learn the business by being a heel right away. You have to be a babyface because you have to learn the psychology of a match. It's like painting a picture. You got to paint the story. And you can only do that by learning how to be a face first and then a heel, because the heel is pretty much the guy that directs and didacts the whole match later on, as you know with your past experience watching wrestling. I went down to see Fritz because he knew about me, and I go, but Fritz, I want to be a heel in your territory. I don't want to be a face. I'm naturally an asshole. So he says, well, we'll see how you do at a dark match. You guys know what a dark match is?
It's an untelevised match that appears before the curtain jerker.
Right. Exactly. And they had me go up against, I remember this, it was the Fort Worth Coliseum up against Cousin Luke.
The Kiwi.
We just had a wing it match, and I knew they were watching. They wanted to see. I was either gonna be a heel or go home, And I was a great Great match. I went over some high spots, stuff that I learned up in Stampede. And Luke sold like a motherfucker. I sold like a motherfucker. And it went back and forth. And instead of the stupid bear hug I just killed him with clotheslines and then taken him out of the ring like Bruiser Brody. And the fans hated my ass. And I loved it. And I remember the booker at the time, Gary Hart. Remember him?
Of course.
Yes.
Great guy. Turned out to be a great friend, too. And going into the locker, he stopped me, he goes, "You can work, brother. Fritz wants to see you in his office the next morning." And honestly, that night was right up there with the level of me setting the world record. It's like, okay, I can work on my own as a heel. And that was a realization right there. That was another seminal moment right there for me. I remember that night. And you know where I ate that night? I ate my ass off at like 12 o'clock at night with a couple other wrestlers at the Waffle House.
Do you remember your order?
Yeah. I went right for the steak and eggs because they can have that like any hour. And then I had some pancakes. Yeah, it was great. And then I went to see Fritz the next day. And he had his office at the Sportatorium. And Fritz had the world record tape also. So he promoted me down there on that before I got into the ring. That was very crucial, very instrumental too, between Vince and Fritz Von Erich. They showed that world record being blasted up, legit world record, a true shoot, and that just got people like fired up. We got to see this guy. And we instantly sold out the Sportatorium all the time. In his Southern garb, he goes, "I like you, Arcidi. You did great last night, and I think we could do some business together. I think we're going to give you the strap for the." I go, "World strap?" He goes, "No, Texas heavyweight, and we're going to give you a manager, Percy, and I think we're going to do well." And he was no bones about it, but he was such a great guy. And there's another perfect opportunity right there that I got to bring up. Between Vince and him, they gave me the opportunity. If I didn't have the opportunity, those guys gave me a shot. And I will always, if I see Vince, I thank him. I'm sad that Fritz passed on earlier, but I always thanked his sons.
So, yeah, world-class wrestling, that we're not just talking about just a small territory. They were nationally syndicated on ESPN.
Oh,
so you went
well,
from...
the correction, global. When I went down for my first TV at the Sportatorium, I had the driver with me. I go, "Well, just drop me off here." He goes, "Well, we got to drop you off farther down just to go in where the heels go." I go, okay. So we're driving. I go, "Slow down, wait a second." And I'm right by the Sportatorium, and I counted 7, 8, 9, 10 dishes, satellite dishes, going all over the friggin' world, probably. And this is for a Friday night in that Sportatorium that maybe houses 3,000 people tops, which is like a hellhole, but great for wrestling. And I thought right there, man, give Fritz Von Erich total credit. He built this territory up with his sons by himself. And the guy's global. I'm so glad to get back on TV, and thank you, Fritz Von Erich.
There were some incredible names in world class at that time. You were running with the Dingo Warrior and Maniac Matt
Who
Bourne.
was just with me too right before he left, and they helped build this territory up.
The Undertaker.
And
Texas.
I was very fortunate to be in the stable of Percy Pringle, who had managed. I think he ended up managing Cactus Jack after I left. But yeah, he was a phenomenal manager as a heel, and he was well known, and he was over already down in Texas and all over the world with his puss on TV.
He was hilarious. That he epitomized what a wrestling manager could do.
Oh, he was phenomenal. I used to crack up half the time. We'd have to do it over and over because that guy just made me crack up.
His
he had that
expression,
silly looking suit jacket with all the stars and shit on it, and then that face. It's like you wouldn't buy a fish from a horn pot with that guy. I mean, he would sell you the Brooklyn Bridge, but he was serious about it, and he had that look. I just knew he was going to go to New York because he was the consummate manager.
Do you have any memories, core memories that stick out from your time at World Class that involve The Undertaker when he was wrestling as Texas Red, or we mentioned the
Yeah. When I was wrestling Texas Red, it was kind of like a preliminary match for him. But I remember him, and I remember he was doing some moves and stuff, and he had the height, and he was very respectful, good kid. And I had some great matches with Brody. That's where I learned to take it out of the ring, because people love to take matches out of the ring, and anything goes, man. A steel chair, a pylon, a post, anything. And Brody was good because he gave me the psychology too and he was a great guy.
He was.
And Matt Bourne, we had some great matches together. Matt was he was actually a pretty smart kid. The problem was we used to have great matches. He'd sell, and I'd do my thing, and he'd sell, and I'd sell. We'd take it out of the ring. But the problem was he ended up like a lot of these wrestlers, they get the substance abuse, and that's what happened with Kerry too. And I feel real bad because I was tight with Kerry. And it's how do you say it? Is it inevitable? What's the term I'm trying to figure out?
It's sad.
They just get captivated by it. They're like rock stars, instantaneous rock stars, and they rely on the drugs. And then you're on the road too. And I saw this more with WWE. They like to party, so they don't get enough sleep. So they rely on taking Xanax and downers to sleep, and then uppers like Coke to work. And that, with my medical science background, is just the worst thing for your body. Because as you know, when your body breaks down at night, it needs deep restorative sleep. And you don't get that if you're taking Xanax or these downers or these Valiums and stuff. It only gets you halfway. So it causes heart damage. That's when your heart recuperates and re-strengthens itself when you get into deep REM sleep. And they never obtain that. That's why half these guys died of heart attacks in their sleep at night.
Wow, that's very profound.
And that's
to hear
the
you
truth.
put it that way, because you were right.
Yeah.
When you look back at the cast of characters that appeared on past WrestleManias, we'll pick WrestleMania 5 for instance. More than half.
Yeah, how many are alive now?
Exactly, more than half of them have passed on, and a lot of them because of the demons that they had to battle along the way. Kudos to you for maintaining a healthy lifestyle. By the way, how much can you bench press these days, Ted?
These days, I'm in the 3s, but right now if I could do reps in the 2s, high 2s, I'm happy.
Well, Mr. Ted Arcidi, I know that you are a very busy man. Thank you so much for giving us an hour of your time. We could honestly wax nostalgic many, many more hours. Hey, would you like to come back and do a part 2 sometime?
I'd be enamored. I'd love it.
All right,
I
perfect.
think it'd be great.
Yeah, we haven't even scratched
the surface. You guys
the
have a nice angle, and you have a great distribution. I enjoy both of you guys. It's great. You have a very, how do you say it? It's a very unique angle, but you're incorporating this because of your past experience as well as what you see the business today. So a lot of people can have that attribute when they make up their own minds when they're listening to you.
Thank you so much for articulating it that way. That really means a lot. This has been a very big full circle moment for Kevin and I. It's been an honor to talk to you, sir. Let's make sure that we don't become strangers, and let's do a part 2 when your next movie comes out.
Yeah, that's it's going to be a movie called Bad Day with Cameron Diaz, and that's going to be out early fall. So when you start seeing the promos for that, which I know you will, let's do a part. It'd be a nice blast off of that.
Yes, sir. His name is Ted Arcidi. He is the former world record holder for the bench press. He is a former WWE Superstar. He's a former Texas heavyweight champion, and he is an actor extraordinaire and a good friend of the show. Ted, don't be a stranger. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thanks a lot, you guys. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.